Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a highly frustrating paradox that so many of us experience. You know the feeling? You're making a steady income, maybe you even got a decent raise recently, but somehow you still feel completely stretched thin. So why exactly do people make money but still feel broke? And more importantly, how can understanding where your money actually goes help you finally take control of your finances? Well, let's dive right in and figure out exactly why this happens, and better yet, how to fix it. To kick things off, a recent CNBC report perfectly summed this whole situation up with an absolute classic: mo money, mo problems, right? According to their reporting, for a lot of Americans, work can honestly feel like being stuck on a hamster wheel. No matter how fast you run or how much your salary actually increases, it just never really feels like enough. And honestly, this hits the nail on the head when it comes to the financial anxiety that even high earners are feeling today. Okay, check out this staggering number. According to that same CNBC data, on average, Americans believe they would need $520,000 a year just to feel rich, over $500,000. But here's what's truly fascinating. That target, it constantly moves based on what you already make. People making under 50 grand a year felt they needed about 157,000 to feel comfortable. But those making 100,000 or more, they said they'd need nearly 246,000. It just proves that as our paychecks grow, lifestyle creep inevitably sets in. We just keep adjusting our baseline, making us feel like we always need more. And that brings us to definitions from the Pew Research Center, which brilliantly illustrate the core issue here. See, we often confuse two very distinct concepts: income and wealth. Income is simply the cash flowing in, right? It's what you earn from your job or your business every month. But wealth, your net worth, is what you actually keep. It's the total value of the assets you own minus your outstanding debt. As Pew points out, it's that accumulated wealth that actually provides retirement income and protects you against those unexpected economic shocks. So a high income absolutely does not mean high wealth if all that cash is just flowing right back out the front door. Which brings us to a really simple yet totally profound question. If we all know that building wealth and keeping our money actually matters, why do we constantly overspend? Why on earth is the money vanishing even when our income is technically more than enough? Well, to answer that, we actually have to look at our brains. Cornerstone Trust points out that overspending isn't necessarily some big moral failing or a lack of math skills. It's very often a direct reaction to psychological triggers. Basically, we engage in emotional spending. Think about it. Maybe you're just bored and looking to fill some idle time. Maybe there's social pressure to keep up with your friends or some influencer you follow. Maybe you see a shiny 50% off sign and suddenly you're buying a massive industrial blender you literally never even wanted. Or, and this is a big one, you're just stressed out. You're using online shopping as a quick release valve for a really bad day at work. And when we give in to those triggers, our brain gets a temporary dopamine hit. It's the ultimate feel-good chemical, right? But that instant gratification is so fleeting. Modern conveniences, I'm looking at you, one-click shopping and buy now, pay later apps, make it dangerously easy to chase that temporary emotional relief. And we do it while completely sacrificing our long-term financial security in the process. We are literally trading our future wealth for a quick 5-minute dopamine rush today. But hey, it's not just our emotions working against us, it's also our environment. Ginsberg Gingras outlines 7 hidden expenses that are just silently draining our accounts without us even realizing it's happening. I mean, we're talking about paying for 3 different streaming services just to watch one show and then completely forgetting to cancel them. Or those annoying monthly bank fees and out-of-network ATM charges. Then you have the impulse buys, like that everyday drive-through coffee and poorly adapted warranties. They also point out how neglected maintenance on your car or home can snowball into a massive repair bill later on. And don't even get me started on those sneaky price hikes on your internet or phone bill that you just put on autopay and completely ignore. But perhaps the most crucial point here is highlighted by one genuinely shocking statistic: $1,300. That is how much the average family loses every single year just by throwing away wasted food. That is wild. Food tossed in the trash is quite literally money thrown in the trash. So when you add up the food waste, the unused subscriptions, and all those sneaky little fees, you can start to see exactly why an otherwise perfectly healthy income feels like it's just vanishing right into thin air. Let's move on to bridging the gap between our actual needs and our passing wants. A great starting point for this is actively mapping out your expenses. Take a look at this consumer finance worksheet. It's for a budgeting scenario about a young woman named Pachola who brings home $1,200 a month. The idea is you list out every single monthly cost: rent, cell phone, specialty coffee, streaming services, and you have to honestly check the box. Is this a need or is this just a want? You really have to be brutally honest with yourself here, guys. Groceries? That's a need. A $75 dinner out with friends? That is for sure a want. Now, once you've categorized your spending, you need a solid framework to actually manage it. A highly effective and honestly pretty fun way to visualize this balance is the famous 50-30-20 rule. This was popularized by Senator Elizabeth Warren in her book All Your Worth, and as you'll see, it looks a lot like a perfectly portioned, sprinkled donut. Breaking this rule down, it goes a little something like this. 50% of your after-tax income goes to your absolute needs. These are your non-negotiable must-haves, like housing, basic groceries, utilities, and your minimum debt payments. Then 30% goes to your wants. This is the fun stuff: dining out, hobbies, the non-essentials. Finally, a strict, non-negotiable 20% goes straight into your savings bucket to build your actual wealth and protect your future. Okay, so that 20% savings goal sounds fantastic in theory, but how do we guarantee it actually happens? Well, the financial platform Vault points out a massive flaw in how most of us budget. Usually, we use the save last approach, meaning we spend all month long and promise ourselves we'll save whatever is left over at the end. But the problem is, there is never anything left over, right? Vault suggests we absolutely have to switch to the pay first approach. You make saving the very first bill you pay. You literally automate a transfer the absolute second your paycheck lands on your account, before you buy groceries, before you pay rent, before you do anything else. By automatically moving that money completely out of your checking account on payday, you create what Vault calls artificial scarcity. Think about it. If you get paid $4,000 and $400 instantly vanishes into a separate, hard-to-reach savings account, your brain just looks at a checking balance of $3,600. And human nature dictates that we naturally curve our spending to fit that visible balance. It's brilliant because it removes the need for superhuman discipline. You stop asking yourself, can I afford this, based on money that was secretly supposed to be for your savings, simply because that savings money is already safely locked away. Now, if you're completely new to saving and wondering where that pay-first money should actually be going, Vault recommends this specific, highly effective order of operations. Step 1. Secure a small $1,000 starter emergency fund so the next time you get a flat tire, it doesn't immediately go on a credit card. Step 2, grab your employer retirement match, because come on, that is an instant 100% return on your money. Step 3, aggressively pay down any high interest debt you have, like credit cards. And finally, step 4, build out your full 3 to 6 month living expense cushion so you are truly, deeply financially secure. I want to leave you with this final, genuinely provocative thought from Vault. The households who save aren't the ones with more discipline. They're the ones whose savings never had to survive a month of decisions. Wow. The most financially secure people out there don't possess some magical willpower that you're somehow lacking. They just build automated systems so they never have to rely on willpower in the first place. So take a hard look at your own accounts today and ask yourself, is your wealth barely surviving your daily decisions? Or is it finally time to automate your future?